I was raised in Cleveland, Ohio. In the Midwestern United States, we don't ever discuss personal finances. Your neighbor could be destitute or wealthy, and you would never know it. But today I'm going to make my parents, and even my soul just a little bit, very uncomfortable and pull back the curtain. My little channel started to make money on November 2nd, 2020. It's now 1 month later. How did the channel do financially? Let's find out. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. So this is a little bit of a story that I'm going to tell, and I think it's important to the context of the financials. But if you only care about the money, I'll put a timestamp in the description just so you can skip right to it. But I think the story I think is important, so I think you should watch that. At least that's my opinion. So this is my YouTube journey and where it is now. If you've watched my background video, linked up here, you know that while I was born in Boston and currently live in Georgia, I grew up in Cleveland, which is a solidly Midwestern town. Truly, to this day, I don't know how much any of my childhood friends' parents made, nor even what my friends all make today. We simply don't discuss these matters. So this episode is more than a little uncomfortable for me, and honestly, I'd never planned to reveal any of this. But then I thought, this is a channel dedicated to finding out answers to questions, especially tech-related ones. And one thing I had really big problems discovering over the last year was how much a smaller YouTube channel could expect to make. So for all of those thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and for those who are just kind of voyeuristic and want to find out how much other people make, and I know who you are out there, here goes. Let's start with a bit of background. Dr. Know-It-All is not my first YouTube channel. I have another channel currently called Whole Nuts and Donuts, but originally called Lily Bell after my best fur baby, Lily the Husky. My first posting was December 6th, 2012, so almost exactly 8 years ago. It has 73 views. Woohoo! Come on, man. It's a puppy video with a dog. It should have gone platinum. What can I say? Anyway, over the years, this channel morphed into an adventure video channel and has videos like our Everest Base Camp trek and my Matterhorn video that I reposted here last week. Those videos took me literal months to make and actually have quite a few views. So how much has this channel earned over time? $2.63. Why? Well, now we get to the crux of things. Here's what has to happen to make money on YouTube. You have to have at least 4,000 hours of views in 1 year, and this wasn't really difficult for either Whole Nuts and Donuts or Dr. Know-It-All. Both of the channels have done quite well on that. The problem is you also have to have 1,000 subscribers. Whole Nuts and Donuts still to this day has 537 subscribers, so it's ineligible to make money. The $2.63 actually comes from my Mount Rainier climbing video, which was released in 2013. And YouTube used to let you earn something as soon as your videos were online, but I think in 2017 they changed this policy to the 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscriber restriction. So just about the time my Mount Rainier video was gaining steam, it got cut off from monetization. Figures. In just a moment, we'll look at the Dr. Know-It-All channel, but first, please do like and subscribe, and yes, really it matters if you like and subscribe. When you watch people's videos on YouTube and they mention this, it's because it actually matters a lot. The likes, the thumbs up bump the video up in YouTube's algorithm, and thus a well-liked video gets pushed more and more, to people's home screens, and then more people watch it, and then they like it, and then it keeps going up, of course. So that's all good. And of course, the subscribers are super important for getting more views, and of course, you need 1,000 subscribers just to be eligible to make money in the first place. I also want to give a big shout out to my patrons on Patreon, especially a couple of new patrons since last time, Benjamin Lott and Walter Monshine. Thank you guys so much. It turns out that many of my biggest fans and some of the people who even have never given to Patreon before are my patrons. It's super humbling that you guys actually spend money on my channel. I mean, watching it is one thing, but actually spending money on it is a really big deal to me, and I take it very, very seriously. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep using the funding to help with making things better and hopefully make your, hopefully make your investment worthwhile. Also, a big shout out to Zenly Music. He's also sadly in low subscriber hell, so you could actually really help him out with a quick subscribe. That would be awesome. And finally, if you're in the market for a new Tesla, definitely consider clicking our referral link. If you do and you buy a car, you get 1,000 free supercharger miles, and so do we, which is super cool. And by the way, our Model Y arrives on the 13th of December, so expect lots of videos on that in a couple of weeks. Okay, back to it. So Dr. Know-It-All was born on October 16th of 2019. Yep, 2019. Interestingly enough, Solving the Money Problem with Stephen Mark Ryan, his awesome channel, which I highly recommend, it started just a couple of weeks later. And somehow I managed to catch, I think, his very first or maybe his second episode. So I was one of the first dozen or so subscribers. So there you go. I've been part of his journey too for the last year. Also, a quick side note here, Dr. Know-It-All is a bit of an inside joke between my sister, my wife, and me. My sister has called me Jugal for years for John Google, and my wife has called me Mr. Know-It-All for years. I originally thought this channel would be really cool if I titled it Jugal, but it sounds kind of vaguely racist, which is why I'm printing the name down here just to make sure nobody has a misunderstanding. So then I thought Mr. Know-It-All would make sense. And then I thought, wait, but I have a PhD, so it's actually doctor instead. Not the useful kind, of course.
Dang it, Jim, I'm an astronomer, not a doctor. I mean, I am a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. I have a doctorate. It's not the same thing. You can't help people with a doctorate. You just sit there.
Thus, Dr. Know-It-All was born. The original idea of the channel was to give me gotcha questions. I would open a piece of paper live, read the question, and have to answer in real time, and we would find out how I did. You can see the first episode right up here or a link in the description if you want to. In that episode, I answered the question, what does HDMI stand for? She asked me the definition of HDMI. So, let's see, okay. I believe we are talking about high definition media interface, yeah. So as you can see from the picture, it's gotten 395 views, nice, and it got me 22 subscribers, most of whom were my Facebook friends who I asked to subscribe. What about video number 2? Well, that one was on what are lithium-ion batteries and how do they work? And at that point, I'm off to the races. Of course, none of these videos, nor the 100, yes, 100 other videos I created over the following year made any money. I committed to making one video per week, and I hit the 4,000 viewer hours in like February of last year, if I remember correctly, but I was way, way off from the 1,000 subscribers. Of note, in February, I did an episode on the Horology House scandal, which is up here, and that got nearly 8,000 views in the first 2 weeks, plus 61 new subscribers. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. This, unfortunately, was also my first experience with real internet vitriol. Viewers got on my case about supposedly copying other YouTube channels, even though honestly I was answering a question. And I realized I get very emotional about negative comments or even thumbs down. This is still an issue today, and I'll talk about that more later. Then, of course, in early March, the 2020 pandemic hit in earnest, and everything got really wonky. Due to stay-at-home restrictions, I was able to up my video output often to 1 every other day or even every day. Thus, my videos went from 1 per week up to like 4 or 5 per week. And still very few people watched. And still, I plugged along making videos in obscurity. To some extent, this obscurity was freeing. I could literally do whatever I wanted to, and no one really cared that much. I even did a 6-part fiction series where I pretend to be a paranoid conspiracy-believing person who discovers the truth about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. It's 2020, folks, and I was stuck at home thinking about how truth and wishful thinking have collided this year. What can I say? I personally really like the series, and it scared the hell out of some of my viewers, but I've hidden them now as they're kind of off-brand for the channel, which is kind of unfortunate with the being more successful part. Honestly, if there's enough interest, I can make them available again, and I could even continue the series, but you have to remember, it's fiction. So all of this brings us to late September of 2020. I do a video on Battery Day, Tesla's Battery Day, discussing all the awesome new tech that they introduced. And lo and behold, I get some real interest for the first time in ages. Over 2,000 views. I was like, whoa, and 26 new subscribers. As there seemed to be more interest, I started to focus much more on Tesla and its goings on, which is totally fine. I'm a crazy Tesla nerd anyway. And with the boost starting, I actually managed to squeak up to 500 subscribers on September 28th. So big celebration in my Ice Age is Over video, which, by the way, got 300 views in the first 3 weeks, so rock on, right? Then on October 22nd, 2020, full self-driving beta came out. I did an episode on this on the 23rd, and whoa, 10,000 views in 2 weeks and 271 new subscribers. What? I was actually closing in on 1,000 subscribers really fast at that point. On the 26th, I did another video that was critical of Tesla and they're releasing full self-driving beta to the public. And it generated so much hatred. I got 96 thumbs down almost immediately. It's still that way, which was way more than the positive thumbs up for a long time. And this was honestly devastating to me. Like I said, I'm really sensitive to this negative feedback. I know, don't be on the internet if you can't take trolling, but it's just my nature to be sensitive to criticism, so I'm still working on that. Anyway, all of this vitriol made me stop and think, which is actually a good thing, and reconsider my position. And additionally, I started watching more videos of full self-driving that showed that it was working really, really well. So on the 28th, I did a kind of apology episode, and it actually broke my tiny little corner of the internet. In 1 week, it got almost 40,000 views and nearly 800 subscribers. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Apparently, everyone loves it when you're wrong, and they also love it when you're humble on the internet. Plus, you know, people just love Tesla. And just like that, after 1 year and 2 weeks of plugging along in the background and getting very little traction, I was over 1,000 subscribers and growing quickly. As of filming this, I'm at 8,670 subscribers, and thank you all, each and every one of you, for coming along for this journey. I've gotten 382,000 views and 46,000 hours of people watching my videos, which is also kind of mind-blowing. And the big thing, drumroll please, for the month of November from the 2nd through the 30th, I earned $2,438.93 in revenue. Although I hit 1,000 subscribers on the 30th of October, it takes several days to get the monetization stuff worked out. So the 2nd was the first day that I could actually earn money off of ads. Funnily enough, my wife made me balloons for my 1,000 subscriber passage, but by the time we took the picture, I was already nearly at 2,000 subscribers, which is nuts. So anyway, I started earning money on the 2nd, but revenue is always delayed by about 48 hours, so it took until the 4th for me to get my first earnings information. Would I make $10? Would I make $2? Would I make $20? I made $105.63 in 1 day. That was like... As you can see, however, from the picture, this income is extremely volatile. I've gone from a high of $211 to a low of about $27 in the month, which is just crazy. Over the 29 days of ad revenue in November, it actually comes out to about $84 a day. And as an interesting note, my biggest viewer days don't directly correlate with my biggest ad revenue days. I think, and this is just my guess, that YouTube is actually starting to up my status and throw more expensive ads at my site, which is nice. Could also be due to the content as well. I find it kind of ironic that Ford and GM and Volvo ads play before my Tesla videos, but you guys just keep sending me the money. That's all good. And also, of course, it could be that people are actually clicking on the ads more and watching them more. If you click on an ad or watch it all the way through, I think it makes about 10 times as much as skipping it. So obviously that's a big deal too. So what of Patreon? Well, I'm still blown away by people actually giving me money for the channel. Thank you all so much. It's a really big emotional as well as financial boost, so I really appreciate that. So while Patreon made me $4.15 after fees and everything from July through September, I had one patron who I think was my mom. Thanks, Mom. In late October, I started getting more patrons. And so for November, after all the fees and all that good stuff, my total is $106.39. Yeah, that's not massive at this point, but I appreciate this more than you can imagine. You know, it really does matter to me, and I've earmarked every penny of that money for months to come and continuing to improve this recording setup. So what if you divide the total amount earned by the hours spent on this channel since its inception in 2019? That would get you probably less than 1 penny per hour. Woohoo! So it's definitely not the most lucrative idea I've ever had. It's a good thing I kept my day job. Of course, the hope going forward is that the channel will continue to grow and that all of you will enjoy the content. It feels a little bit crass to say it, but it takes a lot of time to write, edit, etc. these episodes. This one by itself is going to take 5 or 6 hours, for example. So it is nice to make something from them finally. So let's talk about the good and the bad for all of this. The good. I've gotten to redo the background. Thank you to my wife Lane for spearheading all of that. I've purchased around $2,000 in new equipment, setting stuff, software, etc. to start upping the quality of the videos. I had told my wife I would spend basically nothing on the channel until it actually started to make money, so it's really nice to be able to finally start upgrading everything. I'm also so happy to have so many more followers to interact with. It's amazing to read your incredible ideas, to learn even more from all of you, so thank you so much. And of course, I'm getting a new Tesla. I told my wife and myself that on our very, very middle class, less than 6-figure income, we could not afford a Tesla on that salary unless I had a second income stream. So this is that second income stream. So fingers crossed this channel will provide that income for some time. So anyway, we pulled the trigger and our new Model Y is going to arrive in under 2 weeks. And now the bad. As I mentioned before, I'm extremely sensitive to negative comments. And that comes with any type of popularity on YouTube, of course, no matter how little. Due to this, I've become a bit overwhelmed by the comment sections on my videos. I really apologize for this. I want to read and respond to every comment, but I sometimes get so emotionally wrapped up in one particular comment, it totally sidetracks me for a long time. And I can't really manage the emotional energy to go back and look at that video anymore. So it kind of sucks. Even though like 95+% of all your comments are amazing, positive, constructive criticism, whatever. They're super, super helpful. Of course, as a side note, I'd say if you really want my ear, you should email me at my email address, and you know where by now. I try very hard to at least keep up with my Gmail account. And of course, on the quasi-bad, I'm really overwhelmed by the amount of work that this all takes now. Not just creating new content as fast as I can, but managing Patreon, Gmail, Discord, etc. It's actually become a pretty big job all of a sudden, along with my, day job. And of course, the income and viewership is extremely volatile. I could double my views and subscribers in a month, or I could find in a month that nobody's interested anymore. Let's hope it's the former. But these problems are small potatoes compared to the amazing positives of having people watch, learn, comment, and yes, even teach me more too. I've learned a ton from all of your questions and comments, and I expect that will continue to happen. Lifelong learning is my extreme pleasure, and sharing that with all of you interested people is just amazing. So what if you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel yourself? Don't do it for the money. Yes, if you get hundreds of thousands of subscribers and millions of views, you're going to be rolling in cash. But as you can see from my experiences, it's very tough to get to that point. It's a little bit like being discovered by Hollywood at a bus stop in Albuquerque. Yeah, it could happen, but you have a much higher chance of getting struck by lightning at that bus stop than you do of being discovered. You should start a YouTube channel because you're passionate about the subject. You want to share your ideas and thoughts on something, and you don't mind putting in a lot of hours for weeks, months, or even years without any financial remuneration. Basically, if you do it for free, you should start a YouTube channel. You'll get a lot of joy out of it no matter what happens. If you only want to start a channel to make money, don't do it. With the amount of time it takes, you could do something that will get you a lot more money than doing this. If you've stuck around this long in my long-winded explanation, thank you. If enough people are interested in this topic, I will do a follow-up and I promise shorter video on January 2nd to see how things have gone in the month of December. And if we actually manage to hit 10,000 subscribers before the start of the new year, I have a nice little prize to give a lucky subscriber. So you know what to do by now about the whole liking and subscribing thing. Thanks so much for watching this little history and financial tale. And by all means, ask me questions in the comments or at my email, which is DrKnowItAllKnows@gmail.com. Till next time, bye-bye.